Mr. Forgetful is definitely a story that I think will appeal to young children because it gets quite silly at one point. What I like about this is that it's almost normalizing forgetfulness. Children, especially with so much going on in their lives and so much to learn and take in, can forget things, and maybe parents can get quite annoyed at that. But Mr. Forgetful helps to remind the reader, particularly the adult reader, that actually, if somebody does forget something, maybe don't punish them for it unless they're doing it, because they're not paying attention. But forgetfulness is something that happens to some people, and Mr. Forgetful kind of helps to normalize that a little bit. I also just quite like the character. So we start off with an introduction to Mr. Forgetful, who lives in Forget-Me-Not Cottage, which I think is a beautiful name for a cottage. And we learn that he forgets to get his bread out of the toaster. He doesn't know why he's going to the post office. And then one day he actually has an important message. He has to tell Farmer Fields that one of his sheep is loose in the lane. And Mr. Forgetful very intelligently keeps repeating the message to himself so he doesn't forget it. But eventually he gets there and forgets the message. Despite his attempts, he tried his best. He still forgot. It wasn't his fault. And he ends up delivering a line, "There's a goose asleep in the rain," which is not quite the same thing, is it? I think that's something a lot of young children will enjoy. It's silly, it's funny. At no point, that's just depressing. It's a depressing image. Also, massive forehead. But what I like about this is that Mr. Forgetful is trying everything he can to remember. At no point do characters make fun of him for being forgetful, and some of the characters try and help him to remember. So it's actually very supportive. People are acknowledging that he is forgetful. He doesn't do it on purpose. He tries his best. And instead of berating him for forgetting, everybody's there to support him. And I think it works very well as a message. The character design is quite peculiar, actually. He does... He's definitely one of the more basic... I love that image. One of the more basic Mr. Men designs. I don't know how you'd represent forgetfulness in a picture. I don't have anything wrong with the design of him. I think he looks quite good. Certainly not my favourite Mr. Man as a character, but as a story, I think Mr. Forgetful is pretty good.